I want to tell you a story today about Project Ikea. Now, for Christmas, I got a set of desk drawers from Ikea that I wanted from my mum, and this is them now assembled successfully. But let me tell you, it wasn't an easy assembly. The project actually started about a week ago, and I've learned many lessons along that time over the week. Now, first of all, it started like I was following the instructions. I really was. See these instructions here? Yes, I was following them step by step. I was checking all the different pieces, making sure I was using the right piece and the right hole and all that jazz. So I was progressing okay. But then I found that I couldn't screw the screws in. And consequently, it did this to my hand, which is now healed now. That's about 4 days on, but it's been really, really painful actually, because what I was doing is I had something which I thought was the correct tool to screw these screws into, keeping all the pieces in place, but it wasn't. So when my hand, and this is hours of like my pushing my body weight into the board and screwing this thing that actually didn't want to screw in, I finally called on my dear housemate, Jeff. So he's a chartered accountant, very, very smart. So he offered to help. He was done in 5 minutes. He identified that I was using the incorrect tool. So there's lesson number one. You must have the right tools in life. If you don't have the right tools, things don't work out and they're ouchies. So that's number one. So must have the correct tool. So we've resolved that. So we're able to screw all these screws in. Fantastic. So I continue with the project assembly. Then I got stuck because I got 3 large drawers installed, but the 2 drawers, they weren't fitting together. I had the screws and I put them in exactly the same way as I did the larger drawers. But here's the kicker. Even though I'd maintained looking at the instructions up until then with the assembly, I assumed that the small drawers would be exactly the same as the large drawers. They were not. So when the screws did not fit the holes, I pressed harder. I tried to make the holes bigger, and I'm like, oh, it's a manufacturing fault. It's got to be. Now, having visited IKEA and knowing how efficient and organized the Swedish are, yes, it is human error, my error. So couldn't work it out. I thought the pieces were wrong. I didn't have enough screws. And then I'm on phone calls. I'm trying to resolve it, wasting a lot of time and energy. So this project that started out quite cheaply ended up costing me a lot of money in my time, energy. And also today I went to IKEA. That was an hour drive each way, being in the store, speaking to people, the cost of petrol, the cost of wear and tear on my car. When I think about it, if I just purchased a nice piece from an office store, it probably would have been the same price or cheaper, have it ready installed, delivered to the home, than trying to do it all myself. But I was determined. I didn't give up. So that's a good thing. Now, when I went to IKEA, I encountered a very, very nice young man at the help desk who looked at the instruction, had a look at what was going on, straight away said, "You need more screws? Here you go, no problem." And he said, "Look, I'll take it out the back and see what's going on here." He returned within 2 minutes, and it was found that the smaller drawers did not need 4 screws. They only needed 2, and those smaller holes were meant for a different piece of equipment. So now that was identified, it was an easy fix. But there was over a week of putting this project together, which really could have taken a very short amount of time. I had a chartered accountant help me, and he couldn't see, neither of us saw what we were missing, and making the assumption that the big drawers are the same assembly as the small drawers. So another lesson I've learned is a bit about likening this experience to coaching and having accountability, having professional support, having someone in your corner, support for success. When I went to IKEA, support for success. Jeff helped me with screwing the screws in correctly, support for success, because on my own, I was hitting obstacles. I was making mistakes. I couldn't see what I was doing wrong, whereas a coach, a support person, can see it. They can give you another perspective. They can say, "Did you mean to do it this way?" Ask the pertinent questions, and also help you navigate through the challenges when, I could have quite easily thrown my hands up. And if I was, 20 years ago, I was like, this is too hard. And it made me think, how many people have IKEA projects that are half done because it got too hard, even though the instructions are actually pretty clear, but it was just my oversight. I wasn't seeing things as they were. So that's my lessons. A lot of time and energy wasted, but I'm really thrilled. I'm organized now. The drawers are assembled, but never overlook the power of having accountability and support for success.